Hey folks, Ben from Snowy's here today. I'm showing you how I assembled this Gasmate Voyager BBQ.
Hit it.
This is a really popular barbecue for camping. Does require assembly from new, only requires a few simple tools and a bit of time. So when you buy your Voyager BBQ, it comes boxed up like this, but it requires assembly. So the box measures about 50 centimeters by 38 centimeters and about 20 centimeters in height. The stove itself weighs about 9, so with all the packaging, it's probably about a 10 kilo package with everything included. Now, as I mentioned, it requires assembly. So there's an instruction book in here and heaps of parts. I'm gonna spread it all out on the table here and show you what's included. Okay, so I've pulled all the bits and pieces out. I've taken all the packaging off and I've left it laid out here. Now, all the parts that come with it are listed in your instruction menu here, so just have a quick check through and make sure they're all there. Just to give you a quick run through though, these are all the nuts and bolts and washers that we need, plus an extra spanner and a screwdriver for assembly as well. A couple of hinges here that are going to hinge the top and bottom together. Handles for the front and the sides. The legs that fold up underneath the oven with hinges already attached to those ones. This is the drip tray which goes in the very bottom to catch the fat. 2 cooking plates there, and then our gas components here, this being our burner and then our hose here as well. Now the hose has got the Piezo ignition and everything all attached. This is the rotary ignition here, all attached in one, and a POL fitting on the other end to go to a POL fitting LPG bottle. And of course the main body here. So we've got the lid, which already has the little temperature gauge installed in underneath here, and the base. So to get started, we need the base, and I'm going to follow through step by step in the manual here exactly how they specify. So if you're following along at home, you can see here, here's all the parts that you need and all the nuts and washers. And I'm going to follow through step by step what they outline in this manual here, so it's easy for you to follow. Now this pack of nuts and bolts here does have the label on the front, all the parts, so CCGGIIEE, and it's also labeled on the back here with little sort of cutout sections, so you can pop these out so you don't get them mixed up and you can grab what you need. Now the manual specifies at each step which nut, bolt and washer combination you need to attach certain things. I'm not going to go into that much detail in this video, but it is outlined in the user manual here, so make sure you check on all of these labels here to make sure you're using the right nuts and bolts. But what I want to do is show you on this exactly what is going where. So to start with, the manual is telling me I need the base here. Now the base, we'll note now, it does already have these brackets installed, or these latches installed on the front here. You don't need to put them on. If we come to the back here, we're going to be installing these hinges. So these are hinges for the lid. We need this bottom section of the hinge. We're going to use the correct nuts, bolts and washers to attach this onto here, and we do that on each side. There's actually 2 washers on each. These are spring washers, which are going to be an important element if there's vibration for the stove. These are going to stop the bolts coming undone. So I've put a single flat washer on there at the moment. I need to add a spring washer on each one of those. Okay, so I've got those brackets attached on the back here. So 4 bolts, 4 nuts and 2 washers on each of these, a flat washer and a spring washer. Now next step is the gas burner assembly here. Now, so this pokes in through the hole on the end here, and I've got to check the manual for the corresponding nut, bolt and washer that is going to go through the base here and attach this securely to the bottom like that. Okay, so that's the gas assembly attached. What it's asking us to do next is to put some handles on the side. Now, there are 3 handles, all the same apart from the one that has the R on it, and this is an important thing to remember. This one, you'll note, has this little cutout here, and that just allows a bit of space for the igniter to sit up against this. So it's important that this goes on the right hand side of the unit. Now the front of the unit has the latches on it, but another way to know which side this goes on is to make sure you look for these little holes underneath. So that little cutout corresponds with the rotary ignition that attaches here. If we have a look at the other side, it doesn't have those extra holes. So grab 2 of these, this one on the right hand side, another one on the left hand side, and once again the manual specifies which nut, bolt and washer you need to attach each one. Now I've given up on this little spanner here and I'm using sockets, so a 10mm and an 8mm socket is going to make assembly a whole lot easier for you. Next step is the legs on the bottom, so I'm going to flip this over, and they do call these legs 2 different versions. So the only real way to tell is the sticker on it. So they call the one with a sticker the right hand leg, and the one without the sticker the left hand leg. Probably mainly because this sticker then lines up with the gas end or the gas side of the barbecue where the igniter and the gas goes in. but they do kind of seem pretty much symmetrical. So if I did get these the wrong way around, it looks like they're going to fit okay. I can't see any major differences that's going to stop that from working, but I'll stick with what the manual says, and that's to put the compliance label on the gas side. I've got 4 bolts, so I've got a bracket. These are already attached, but both sides of this bracket are attached to this leg when you buy the stove. What we need to do is grab, so 2 on each bracket, nuts, bolts and washers as per the instruction manual, and attach these on here. The socket set certainly makes your life a whole lot easier. So you can get by with the included spanner, but if you've got a little socket set, then certainly grab it and it'll help you a lot to assemble this. Now the next step is to attach the hose and igniter assembly. So this guy here goes on this end of the burner. And this goes in underneath here. We've got that little cutout underneath the handle there that caters to allow for space for this. We've got the Piezo igniter cable that can just hang down at the moment. We'll attach that shortly. And what we need to line up here are these 2 bolts that are already attached to the whole rotary ignition temperature control handle. They go through these holes underneath the handle here, and this little part here, which is the gas outlet, needs to sit inside the actual end of the burner assembly there. So we tuck that in there, line up the screw holes, and then the user manual specifies which nuts and bolts we need to screw that in on the inside here. So just when you attach this, make sure that this bracket here sits flush against the body. I had to wiggle it a little bit because it was sticking out, and make sure the bolts are done up tight. And from here we've got the Piezo igniter cable. Now they don't really specify in the manual exactly where this should sit. So I'm kind of making some assumptions. I guess we kind of want it to go down through this gap here, because if it goes in here, it's likely to pinch against the body. So the cable kind of naturally wants to go over the top of the burner here and sit there, but that's going to pinch. So I think what we'll do is actually poke this down this side of the burner so that it tucks down underneath there, push that down through underneath there, and that hopefully is kind of a stiff cable. Hopefully that means when we fold this, the cable naturally sits in that little gap there, so it's not being pinched up on these edges. And then coming up underneath the stove here, this is the Piezo igniter here. So this is where this little electrical current is going to run. Now this is just a very simple attachment here. There's just a metal sleeve in there that goes over the top of the pin in the bottom of the Piezo igniter there. And we just push this on like such. Requires a little bit of pressure just to get it attached. I wouldn't push too hard because it's starting to bend a little bit, but you can feel when it's reasonably well seated there, that slid on probably about 1 centimetre or so, and that's attached. So this just hangs underneath here, so probably one thing to be careful of, but when you do transport it, it can tuck up underneath these legs here, which fold flat, so it's reasonably well protected. So that's the base pretty much assembled. All the instructions say now is to grab the hot plates, or actually we can grab the little drip tray, and this slides in underneath the stove here. So that just sits in its little sleeve there. So that's removable, so you can clean it out as the fat drips down in the bottom of the stove here and out through the holes there and into the drip tray. And then we can put the hot plates in now as well if we like. So these do have an orientation that you need to follow. So a bit hard to see, but this side's flat and this side's got a bit of a curve to it. So the curved side goes to the front of the cooker. So this will sit neatly in here, and then the flat side fits on the other side. Now you will know if you've got it the wrong way around because, well, let me show you as an example. If I try and put this one over this side, it does fit, but you can see this doesn't line up, that doesn't line up, and then this one doesn't fit on the other side quite so well. You can see you've got a bit of funny angles going on there. So you do always need to have the grill on the right hand side, hot plate on the left hand side. Last thing to do now is attach the lid. So we've got to grab the lid here, and we're nearly all done here. With these brackets on the back here, the orientation's pretty easy to work out because the brackets here, which I think is part C, the manual specifies it has a little lip on there. That lip lines up with the slot in the lid there. So that goes on there, and then I've got the nuts and bolts that are specified right here. We put them in place and boot them up. When you put these brackets on, just make sure that this little tab here is located in the slot there. That's going to stop these brackets from twisting around because there's only one bolt on there. The last thing to attach to the lid here is the handle on the front here. So grab this handle, put it roll out, so we've got the gap side facing down. They go in the holes at the front there, flip it over, corresponding nuts and bolts specified in the manual to do it up on the inside. So that is all we need screwdrivers and sockets for, because now what we need to do is use some pins to attach the lid by the brackets on the back here. So we've got to line this up so the top bracket sits inside the bottom bracket like this. We do that on the other side here as well. And we've got this pin and retainer which goes through each of these. So we push this through, just give it a little wiggle to line the holes up so it goes right through. And then we use the retaining pin, push that in place, and that locks in there, and that bracket's now attached. Do the same thing on the other side here. Line up the holes, a little bit of wiggling to line it up. Through the other side, retaining pin in place. So just make sure these pins are pointing downwards and aren't getting caught up in the back here. And also just check, I find sometimes, because it's sheet metal, there's not always enough clearance along the back here, and sometimes this edge gets caught on this edge here. So if you find it's making noises or catching, you can just sort of flex this metal out a bit, because it's not really thick. You can just bend it a little to make sure it clears. But that is the Voyager BBQ all assembled. We don't have any parts left. There was an exact amount of parts in this little packet here, so that's completely empty. The stove is assembled, the lid lifts up, got our panels in there. All we need now to use it is the gas bottle and some gas. Something, well, we don't even need to light it because it's got a rotary igniter in there. We'll go through all the features in another video, so check that out if you like. So I would say that's pretty easy to assemble. The instruction manual spells it out in plain English. Anyone can do it. It's a little bit fiddly with all the nuts and bolts, but perfectly manageable. I reckon if I was doing it in a race, I could probably get it done in about 15 to 20 minutes, but give yourself half hour, you should be right. That's how you assemble the Gasmate Voyager BBQ, a really popular option. You can check them out online at snowies.com.au, where you find them at our lowest prices every day. If you've got any questions, let us know down in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel for all of our latest and greatest information, or check out some other cool videos like these ones down here.